Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do some bread knives. Bread knives been on my agenda for a while. We've done a lot of them recently. I've done about 40 of them so far in the last year or so. So I thought I'd just go on here and show you how I've done them. I use Carveco software. Basically right now I have an SVG specifically for the bread knife that I want. And I just plop it into the software, adjust the sizes, copy and paste them. So I can get about 4 on the board that I've got right now. I'm using an 8 by 18 inch board. It's walnut. I'm basically going through right now and getting my depth set to about 0.75, which is about the 3/4 inch. Gonna go with an 1/8 inch bit. You could go with a 1/4 inch. It just depends. I just want to fit as much as I can on this board, so I'm gonna go with 8 inch bit. I like to add ramping moves to all my profiles, so I'm going to go ahead and do that there. And I'm just going to basically name this cut. It's just easier for me to remember every cut. Then it goes through and shows me exactly what the cut will simulate like. And then I'm going to go on to the simulate tab and simulate this so I know exactly what it's going to look like when it cuts. As you can tell here, there is a few spots that I do have to adjust, so I end up going ahead and adjusting that just slightly down. There will be a few parts where I do have to cut out manually and kind of sand that to the shape that I want after. Right here, I'm just kind of slightly moving it down. That way that tool path is not combined right there in between the two right there. So after that, we're going to go ahead and fix that mistake, simulate it, and get the wood ready to put onto the CNC. Since I do have quite a few knives to make, I got 2 boards of walnut that I milled down to size. Now I take the board over to the CNC. This is a Onefinity CNC. I'm just putting it to the spoil board right now with some brad nails. Seems like to be an effective method for me. I really had no issues with it. Now I go ahead and home the X, Y, and Z. I attach the probe. Use the controller that they have. It's kind of fun to use. And I just probe the X, Y, and Z. You can see that here. Now this is a bit from Bits and Bits. It's a 1/8 long reach downcut bit. Works really well for some of these that I want to get a lot of cuts out of. And I've had no issues with it. And now it's just time to cut some more knives out. Takes about probably 5 minutes total, if that. I typically cut mine just slightly over 3/4 of an inch, so I cut mine to about 0.752 or 0.753, just so I don't have to worry about any tear out if I'm going to tear them out. Most of the time they come out just fine. I got a spoiled board just for that reason. I could reflatten everything and everything like that. Just about done with the cut. Pretty much right now we're doing the final pass. You can see right there kind of the step down it takes. It takes a little bit of material every time it goes through the passes. So, and now we're done cutting, so I'm going to turn the router off, get the remote, move the router out of the way, and prop these up so I can get them loose and like sand them and finish them and everything like that. So for this order, I'm doing about 12 knives. As you can tell from all the sawdust, I've already done a few. I take a router with a round over and I just round everything over just to kind of give it a clean edge. And then I do this for every knife that I make. Now that we're done, I'm going to take this 220 grit and round over, hand sand all the corners, get all those furries off, and try to get everything as smooth as possible. Now we're going to take some cutting board oil and kind of rub some on. I typically just throw them on my glove and just rub them on like that. It seems to work really well. This is the first step. I did do a water pop after 220 grit, so I water popped them, and then I did a 220 grit sand on them after. Now I'm going to put it through the laser to kind of do some custom work on these pieces. The customer wanted some letters on them, so I put some letters on them as well. Now I'm going to use my board butter finish, kind of a finish that I've made. It works really well. I'm going to go ahead and put them on everyone and let them sit for about a day just because I have time. And then I buff them out with a blue towel after that. So this is before the finish, and this is during the finish, and I let them sit. Now we're going to take the knives out of the packages. Please be careful. These knives have cut me countless times. They are very sharp. Now I'm just lining up the hole marks and trying to get these holes lined up as best as possible so I can drill these holes out. Now off to the drill press. We're just lining up the holes and drilling these holes out the best that we can. Same thing, just from a different angle. Now that we've got them back, we're going to go ahead and put these screws in. Fairly simple. You just got to make sure you have a really small screw head to be able to screw these in. Now that they're done, that's kind of what it looks like when they're done. I've got, like I said, about 12 on this order. I do like to sometimes make a blade guard. They're going to be loose fitting, but at least it gives it something to prevent you from smacking your hand on it. And with that, that's pretty much the end of this video. Here's the bread knives when they're done. Let me know in the comments what you think. Again, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.